Hey everyone, I'm your host, Dan Vachalek, aka Dyhard. This is the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We got some NFL action going on now with free agency opening up. Free agency officially opened up today at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Tampering has been going on since Monday. Packers made 2 additions, and just today lost two players. We also had some Bucks games. Tough Bucks loss last night. Tough Bucks loss on Sunday, and Marquette and the Badgers start their March Madness conference tournaments this week. UW Green Bay women's just won the Horizon League championship yesterday during the day. I unfortunately have not seen that game yet. I wanted to watch it today. I didn't have time, so I'll see if I could watch it tomorrow. But congratulations to them. We'll be talking about a lot of Packers today. We'll be talking about the Bucks as well, some different changes I saw last night compared to how it's been. And hopefully it's a good sign for the future. Also be looking forward to Bobby Portis coming back in, April. So we still have a good month left until he comes back, but we definitely are going to be talking about that, and I have some ideas for the Bucks moving forward. Hopefully they listen. Not sure if they will, but hopefully they listen. So stay tuned. We got a lot to discuss tonight. Thank you for joining and watching. Listen to Wisconsin Whistle. Hey everyone, welcome to the Wisconsin Whistle. Again, I'm your host, Dan Vachalek, aka Dyhard. So the Packers ended up signing Aaron Burks and a corner, Nate Hobbs. Not too big on Nate Hobbs. I know it's a corner. I know they needed some corners, but they made some news earlier in the week that said they are going to stay put with Jair Alexander. Not a big fan of that at all. I think that we should definitely try to trade him, or at least take the cap benefits of cutting him. He hasn't played a lot of the big games that we need him in. He's disappeared, or he's injured, or he's not available to play. It's been like that for multiple seasons, and it comes a point where it's like, what benefit are you to the team if you can't play for most of the season? Hobbs, however, he was an ex-Raider. I don't really think he's the signing that they need. I think they overpaid for him. I don't think that was, the smartest decision out there, but they did add some depth there. He's slated to be a starter, obviously, with the money he's making and why they signed him. They also signed Aaron Banks. I'm switching it up with NBA players. I'm kind of full in NBA mode now, but Aaron Burks, he was a guard with the 49ers. They signed him to a 4-year, $77 million deal. I really like this move. Josh Myers just signed a contract with the Jets today, so that means that Elton Jenkins is going to switch over to center unless the Packers sign a center, but Elton Jenkins will be moving to center, so they need a guard. Banks I think he's a very good guard. Different stat affiliates have different rankings on him, on how he's played. I think this is a great deal, though. He was the second best guard available, and he did play on the 49ers next to Trent Williams. He did block for Christian McCaffrey. He blocked for Purdy. He has playoff experience. He has a lot of experience. He's a pretty healthy guy, limits penalties. So I'm very excited for this signing. It's almost a night and day difference on my excitement level for each signing. A.J. Dillon, he just signed a deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was recently cleared to play, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday, cleared to go back on the field and practice and play and everything. And he signed a contract. I did not see the details to that contract yet, but he signed with Philadelphia after they lost Kenneth Gainwell. So he will be backing up Saquon Barkley. I'm happy for A.J. Dillon because I really like him as a running back. He's big, physical, powerful. He fits kind of what Philadelphia likes in their players, especially with Saquon being able to squat as much as he can. Jalen Hurts the same way. You got another big physical guy who could, bench and squat a lot in A.J. Dillon. So it makes sense for the Philadelphia Eagles to grab him. Also makes sense with Emmanuel Wilson as a solid backup. Marshawn Lloyd, who we weren't able to really see much last year. He'll be a second-year guy now. And Josh Jacobs is the main back. So Packers still need to grab a wide receiver and really, really should look at Cooper Kupp. I know he kind of fits with the Jaden Reed situation, but Cooper Kupp is definitely somebody that we should look at, especially after we lost out on DK Metcalf. Apparently, there was a rumor that DK Metcalf, the Packers did not even entertain that, and they also did not entertain Devontae Adams, who signed with the Rams. Metcalf is with the Steelers. An ex-Packer has a lot of interest. It's very interesting because now there's some interest in the Vikings, and that's actually materializing. However, there was a report from yesterday that I heard he was on a medicinal retreat again. Not sure the extent of that or what it is, but it does involve no phones. So while he has no phone, the Giants and the Steelers are still waiting to talk with him. And the Jets have actually just released him officially today. He's designated for a post-June 1st cut, which is supposed to save some cap space and logistical reasons for that. But that will kind of determine where the rest of the dominoes fall with quarterbacks. However, Cooper Kupp definitely needs some attention from Green Bay. There's no way that they could roll with the wide receivers that they have, especially with Watson expected to be out for most of the year. I know what Gutekunst said. He said he's pretty happy with the wide receivers, but not listening to the team, not listening to Josh Jacobs recruiting players, not watching the games, seeing that you really do need a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver, at least some stability for Jordan Love, add some experience, train the wide receivers that are on the team. After this year, we don't know if Dobbs is going to stay. We don't know if Watson is going to stay. We don't even know if Watson is going to play this year. And with the 2 concussions last year from Dobbs, especially when he was wearing the Guardian cap in the postseason and still received a concussion, that's a very big sign of concern for me. And we'll get into a lot of that. The Bucs had a tough loss last night against the Pacers on TNT. They had a tough loss against the Cavaliers. That shot by Halliburton was insane, just to tie the game. And then, of course, there was a foul, so he won it. We challenged and weren't able to get the ball down court because we used up the challenge, which cost a timeout, so we weren't able to advance the ball. Giannis had an attempted of a 3, missed kind of poorly, and that was it. Bucs have a gauntlet of a schedule, and in the broadcast last night, they said the Bucs have the 6th toughest schedule coming up. I would probably argue that they have the toughest schedule, especially with how the Bucs have played against good teams. But we got a lot to get into tonight, and before we get into that, I want to hear something from our sponsors. You're listening to the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at planetjerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. Listen to the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We have a new sponsor, Raw Nutrition Supplements. Get rawnutrition.com and use promo code IESR for 10% off. It's a great place. Great products. I definitely recommend trying them out. You know, can't go wrong with getting better nutrition, getting healthy stuff, and getting organic stuff inside your body with all the toxins you eat. So go to getrawnutrition.com and use promo code IESR for 10% off. And I'll just jump right in on the Bucks game as I left off with that. The last shot by Halliburton was great. It was a fantastic shot. Don't get me wrong. You can't play better defense than what Giannis played. You just can't defend a shot that goes in where you're falling away. You do exactly, what you're supposed to do on defense, and it still goes in. But that ticky-tacky foul at the end was that shouldn't have been called. There was no place for that. It's the end of the game. 4 seconds left. You don't call a ticky-tacky foul. I get he didn't have a safe landing zone, I guess. But what type of safe landing zone do you expect from a guy that's falling to the side? What type of safe landing zone do you expect from a guy that's basically going to fall into the bench or out of bounds anyway and will land on the ground with nobody around him anyway? I wouldn't have called that, especially at the end of the game. Maybe if they did that shot, I don't know, first, second quarter, third quarter, whatever, before the end of quarter or before end of half or something, maybe. Even before end of half, I probably wouldn't have called it. But at the end of the game, I'm not giving a team, even if it was in favor of the Bucks, I still would say it was a ticky-tacky foul. That shouldn't have been called. I didn't see much contact or really any. And they didn't even say that it was the contact. It was just that he didn't give him enough space to land safely. So that was just kind of garbage to me. The Bucks played like garbage for most of the game, and they ended up losing on a last-second 4-point play. The thing about that game last night, though, with the 4-point play not even included, was they had some live ball turnovers. And I know I said on my personal account that Doc really wasn't paying attention to the game when he mentioned about turnovers after the first quarter. And it was only like a 4-2 difference. I understand that the turnovers, especially the live ball ones, do matter. But I don't think that was really the biggest difference, because the Pacers had 11 fast break points and the Bucks had none in the first quarter. So, and their defense just wasn't there. So that's kind of the bigger point that I think he should have made, was we have to play better defense. We have to get some stops. There was a lot of guys open last night, pretty much all the way across the board from first quarter to fourth quarter, where you just left guys open from three for Indiana. And a lot of the shots they did miss from three, but you just have to play better defense than that. And having a tough game like that last night where they lose, they did shoot over 50%, shot better all the way around. 14 of 36 from three. Indiana was 13 of 39. Bucks were 43 of 84 from the field. Indiana was 44 of 87. 14 of 19 from the line for the Bucks and 14 of 18 from the line for Indiana. So if you look at that completely, it's a very, very close game. The difference ended up being, at the end of the game, 15 turnovers to 9, which it ended up playing a part, and the Bucks did not incorporate any stopping of turnovers. Indiana had 11 steals, and the Bucks out-rebounded them 44-38. Now, the one thing that I did like is limiting A.J. Green. I know I talk a lot about Brook Lopez, but A.J. Green has just been a nuisance of a player for the Bucks. Not to the defense, but for the Bucks. He's consistently getting 30 minutes a game, and he's putting up 2 shots, 1 shot. He's doing nothing consistently. I mean, very, very consistently. And he really has no place in the lineup for 30 minutes a game. he really has no place in the lineup for more than 15 right now until he corrects out what he's been doing. He made 2 threes last night, which is fine. But in 20 minutes of action, you put up 6 points. And that's actually more points than what you've put up recently. Kevin Porter Jr., after getting a nice string of minutes, they turned him back down to 11. Let's see. That's AJ Green's numbers. So he had 12 against Atlanta. Then he had that triple-double against Dallas last week, Wednesday, which is great. I was shocked he had the triple-double, actually, but that was fantastic to see. 10 points, 14 assists, 11 rebounds. He had a fantastic game in that blowout against Dallas. Even Jericho Sims had a really nice game. He had some dunks. He was really – that game was fantastic to watch as a Bucks fan because they didn't really need their top guys. Giannis and Dame both had 30 each, 32 for Giannis and 34 for Dame. But Kuzma had 17. But, I mean, Jericho Sims, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Kevin Porter Jr., 10 points, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds. AJ Green even had 18 points. And he played 31 minutes, but you gave considerable numbers of minutes to Kevin Porter Jr. Yeah, he went 0 for 5 from 3, but he's not really a three-point shooter, in my opinion. I think he's more of a mid-range shooter. But giving him more minutes is definitely valuable. I get the Mavericks were missing everybody. PJ Washington didn't play either. They're just missing a whole lot of guys. Kyrie's not there. Anthony Davis isn't playing. They just traded Luka. So I get all of that. I really won't dive into that game too much. But then against Orlando, Kevin Porter Jr. had 23 minutes. He had a nice solid game in those 23 minutes as well. He had 12 points. But then against Cleveland, he went down to 10 minutes in that loss. Then 17 last night against Indiana. And when you compare it to AJ Green, 23 minutes against Atlanta with 8 points, 31 minutes against Dallas, which, I mean, if Dallas is missing everyone, I expect you to shoot pretty well, and I expect, if you're getting minutes to perform. Against Orlando, 28 minutes. He didn't attempt a shot. Attempted no shots, I believe. And 0 points, 4 assists. He was out there for nothing. And they ended up losing the game by 2. And the incredible part was they came all the way back in the fourth quarter just to lose by 2. I really think that they could have won that game. Dame had 26. Giannis had 37 and 11. Kevin Porter Jr. played pretty well, but actually AJ Green had three point attempts, missed them all. And he doesn't really play that great of defense. You played Taurean Prince for 40 minutes. Again, in this game, maybe Andre Jackson Jr. could get a little more time. Maybe Jericho Sims can get more than 13 minutes. They played small, I'd say, for most of the game, or a good portion of the game, because Brook Lopez and Jericho Sims combined for 40 minutes. So that's 8 minutes where they didn't have a center. Giannis played 35 minutes. And it was just a tough game, tough loss. There was no way that they should have got blown out in the first quarter like that. They started off extremely slow. How they came back was because of that fourth quarter, but you just can't come out and play games like that. If you look at the stat sheet, it's not really like, wow, Milwaukee just played a terrible game. I get the fourth quarter did help some of these stats because they went off, but free throws, you have to be better. That was pretty much the difference. 16 of 23 on free throw attempts. You go 21 of 23 right there. You won by 3. So free throws are definitely important. They didn't foul as much as Orlando. They only had 2 more turnovers. Dame, though, had 4, which is a problem. I'm not really sure what's going on with Dame. He just seems like he's off lately. Like last night, he was 2 of 7 from 3. He only finished with 15 points. He did have 11 assists, though, which is nice to see, but he just looked off. A lot of the shots, there was a point in the fourth quarter where he was standing around. Really wasn't attacking the basket, wasn't trying to create space for him, create a shot for himself at all. And then there was a timeout, I think, with like 3 minutes left, a little over 3 minutes left. They put Kevin Porter Jr. in. He immediately turned the ball over as soon as he came in, which was very disappointing to see. And right after he did that, they put Dame back in, who he seemed like, taking him out for a second, gave him a burst of energy or opened his eyes like, hey, I need to get my stuff together here and try to win this game. The other thing about Dame, though, is against Cleveland, that fourth quarter was really bad, is where they kind of lost it. He shot 14% from 3, 1 of 7. Against Orlando, 44%. But then against Atlanta, 20% from 3. Dallas, the first Dallas game, 4 of 12 from 3. It just doesn't seem like Dame is himself. He's shooting 34% from 3 in the month of March. He's still averaging 24.7 points per game, and he's one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA, I'd say. But overall this year, he's about average on his three-point shot attempt. But as of late, it just seems like it's almost broken, or it's like something's a little off with him. And for the Bucks to really get through this gauntlet of a schedule and be able to pull out with a 4th seed or a 3rd, or even stretch it to a 3rd seed, I don't think that they will. But if you want to get up to that 3rd seed, you're going to have to play very well against the upcoming schedule, because it has absolutely no breaks. I'd say it's no breaks to it. There's a couple in there, but we've seen how the Bucks play against poor teams. We have losses to Brooklyn multiple times. We've lost to Chicago. We've lost to Charlotte. There was a stretch early in the season where we lost to Chicago, Brooklyn, Cleveland twice. We can't play well against Cleveland at all. Boston, New York, those are 3 teams rather that we struggle against consistently. We lost to Portland multiple times this year. Memphis, it seems like we have a problem playing against. And this schedule to finish off the season is going to be extremely tough. So on Thursday, we have the Lakers. They're going to be on TNT. Saturday, we have Indiana again. Sunday is Oklahoma City. Next Tuesday is Golden State. Next Thursday is the Lakers again. Then Sacramento, the Suns. We have the Nuggets, the Knicks, Atlanta, Phoenix, Philly. That's on TNT. That I'm not really concerned about, but if Joel Embiid plays, I highly doubt it, but I'm not really too concerned with Philadelphia. Miami, New Orleans. Then we finish off the season with New Orleans on Sunday, April 6th on a back-to-back behind Miami, both on the road. Then at home against Minnesota, at home against New Orleans. And the last 2 games of the year are going to be at Detroit and at home against Detroit. Now, that actually might turn into a really huge series, not only for the Bucks, but also for Detroit. Currently in the NBA standings, Detroit is 2 games back from the Bucks, who are, really it's kind of a 3-way tie, I'd say. 4th, Bucks, Pacers, and Pistons. Bucks and Pacers have the exact same schedule or same record at 36-28. Pistons are 37-29. Everyone's 18.5 games back from Cleveland. So to avoid the play-in tournament, you really have to stay you have to stay above them. They're 5 games back from the Knicks. I don't see the Bucks taking over the Knicks. I think the Bucks are going to lock into the 4th seed and probably play Indiana in the first round, or maybe Pistons if they overtake Indiana. I could definitely see the Bucks falling to the 5th or 6th seed, though, if they struggle these basically to round out the season. And that's actually kind of concerning to me at least. You're a much better team than what you've been playing, and you just have to correct out some simple things, like give more minutes to Kevin Porter Jr. Like I've said, you have to give more minutes to Porter Jr. I noticed something last night when he was playing. Is his body language? Is he's all in on the Bucks? He's all in to play. He plays differently, I guess, than what I've noticed from Bucks in recent times. He kind of reminds me of that energy that Giannis does have. Like I watched one where Porter Jr. he got hit in the face 4 times last night. I'm surprised he didn't have a broken face bone. Some bone in his face wasn't broken. But he had shot a free throw, missed, and you could tell he was upset with himself, but he sprinted back on defense, and the Pacers ended up getting a 3. And then you could see him shake his head, but he still hustled right after he shook his head, and you could tell like it was like, oh, damn. Like, it went in or something. He was upset, but he still just sprints around. You could tell he puts his all in. He's a young player, and I really, really, really like him with the Bucks. Averaging 16 minutes again. That's just because he did get some 20-minute games, but he needs more minutes. He definitely needs to play more. The one stat that really surprises me is Pat Connaughton averages 14.8 minutes per game, and I would not play him on the floor at all. Like he wouldn't even touch the floor. Andre Jackson Jr. still averages 16.1 minutes per game. The crazy part is he's the fifth most. He has the 5th most games started on the Bucks, and lately he just hasn't even played at all. Coach's decision. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he said something to Doc, said something that Doc didn't like, but he played against Cleveland for 3 minutes, Dallas in that blowout for 9. He had 8 points, 0 minutes against Houston, 2 minutes against Miami. And this is back in February. In the month of March, he's played a total of 12 minutes and 9 were in a blowout against a team that was riddled with injuries. I don't really understand what's going on with that at all. I haven't read any reports what he did, why he's not getting any minutes. I don't get it. But taking AJ Green's minutes back significantly would be great. There's no reason at all this guy should be playing 30-some minutes. We're going to go back to February. Against the Clippers in a win, he played 30 minutes. He had 9 points, 3 of 8 from 3. That was all he shoots is threes. I mean, he 3 of 8 from the field and 3. So you could tell that's all he shoots. Against Washington, 37 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field or 3-point range, 9 points. Win against Miami, 30 minutes, 5 points. Loss against Houston, 33 minutes. He had 12 points on 4 threes. That's literally all he shoots is threes. So if his 3-point shot is broken or he's not making them, you might as well sit him down because it's kind of ridiculous to have him playing significant minutes. He is shooting 42% from 3 on the year, which is considerable. But most of his shots, he has 293 3-point attempts. He has 49 non-3-point attempts on the year. Averages 7.6 points per game. That's due to some games where he had 21 points, 18, again, another 16, 14, 21 in the loss to Portland in January, 18 against Dallas on Wednesday. But you definitely have to roll him back from playing. I don't really know how else to say that, but he definitely needs to take a step back, replace his minutes with Kevin Porter Jr., replace his minutes with Sims for all, I don't really care how you do it, but roll him back. Definitely have to roll him back. I would probably switch him on the depth chart with Gary Trent Jr. Trent Jr. is currently 3rd for shooting guard. He's 2nd for small forward, but AJ Green would not be second string shooting guard according to the ESPN depth chart. How it looks is AJ Green has tried to fill into the 6-man role, and he doesn't fit that role. He's more of like plays 15 minutes a game and call it a day. The thing, though, that's going to be surprising and very, very interesting to watch is when Bobby Portis comes back. I know the Bucks have definitely looked like they miss him this year, but bringing Bobby Portis back and giving him considerable minutes is going to be actually key because he's a very valuable 6-man. However, it's going to leave the Bucks in a tough situation. Do you limit Jericho Sims? Are they going to limit Porter Jr.? Is everybody's minutes going to roll back? How are we going to work that? And I was talking with a couple people today about, possibilities and what could go on. And I'm really, really starting to think that maybe we can limit Brook Lopez and put Lopez probably down to 25 minutes a game, I'd say. Give Jericho Sims about 15 to 20. Bobby Portis fills in there. I would say always have either Giannis, Lopez, Giannis and Bobby Portis, Giannis and Sims, but always have Sims, Portis, Lopez, and Giannis on the floor together at some point. I would say I'd rather have Portis and Sims together on down low than Lopez and Portis or Lopez and Sims. Lopez seems to do a lot better lately when he's not hugging the 3-point line. And I don't know if maybe he listened to the replay of this or the broadcast or someone said that I was going off on him because it seems like he's starting to go down low a little bit more. He's still slow. He's still making mistakes on defense. And there's just some little stuff that kind of frustrates a lot of fans all over Twitter and me especially. But trying to limit his minutes, I say probably down to 25. While he is valuable, he does have some value, I'll say. You got to limit his minutes when Portis comes back if you really want to succeed. And we're going to have Lillard and Giannis pretty much lead the team. Unfortunately, Kuzma has kind of hit a little cold streak, which is no problem. I have no problems with Kuzma hitting a cold streak. He's been pretty nice since he's joined the Bucks. And then, I didn't shoot too well against Cleveland, didn't shoot too well against Orlando at 11 points, but he shot 30% and 46% from against Cleveland, 44% last night, and he only had 9 points. But, if you shoot 77% and 70% against Dallas and Atlanta, you're going to have some cold come after the hot, and there's no problems in that at all. I'm not worried about Kuzma. You got to take the good with the bad. And overall, he's been way better than Chris Middleton. So I'm not really too concerned with Kuzma kind of having some cold streaks. He's a lot better on defense. He moves around. He's a facilitator. He opens up space. He likes to push it up the floor. He does create his shots. He could hit big threes. He could shoot down low, mid-range. Play defense, guard anybody on the floor. He's a very versatile, nice player to watch. I love Sims for his defensive ability, his movement on offense. He kind of is more of a down low guy, and that's where he likes to stay. And I really like that about Sims. He's starting to show a little bit more offense as well. They're starting to kind of give him the ball a little more on offense and make him do something. And I'm really a big fan of Sims. I think he deserves minutes. If anything, for his defense, he likes to stick down low. And playing against other teams that have a big guy, Sims is going to be valuable. He had a dunk, I think, against Orlando. I mean, he posterized the guy, got a steal, kind of ran down the court and jumped from just beyond the free throw line and posterized Orlando Magic guy. And that was great to see. And Sims definitely does have some offensive capabilities. I think Giannis needs to get him in the gym just to work with him. I think the Bucks need to work with him in practice, just to get that offense ability coming. But I really like Sims and think that he deserves minutes, and I would hate to see his minutes really get severely limited because Bobby Portis is coming back. But the Bucks have a very tough schedule, and it's going to be really, really tough to keep their seed how they have it. And I just hope that the Bucks are able to do that. I'm looking up. I want to see Sims stats. That's not what it is. 4.7 rebounds a game because, lately, like against Cleveland, 10 boards. Against Dallas, yeah, they didn't have any big guy, but 8 boards. He had 12 minutes last night. I think you should up that to maybe 15, 20. Give him some more time on the floor, but 3 rebounds, 6 points. He had a steal, a block. He had 3 blocks against Orlando. He definitely is a good quality center, and I think that you could give him a little more minutes and cut Lopez's back just a little bit. Wouldn't have any problem with that because, let's see, Brook Lopez has been rebounding a little more, 7 last night, 9, 8, 23 points, but that's mainly sitting, mainly getting good shots down low where he's supposed to be. 9 rebounds against Cleveland, but 2 against Orlando, 2 against Dallas when they had nobody, no bigs really. He had a 13-13 game against Atlanta. So shifting him down low is going to be very key for the Bucks, getting the maximum value out of all their players. And they have a tough game against the Lakers tomorrow night. LeBron will not be playing. So just to keep an eye on that, it will be Luka. It is at home on TNT. So everyone who doesn't pay for FanDuel Sports Network, you can watch the game. Definitely check it out. Before we switch over to Packers, I did want to mention that the Marquette and Badgers Big Ten and Big East tournaments are starting this week. They play Xavier tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Marquette does. So I'm kind of hopeful that Marquette can, figure it out and go pretty far in the Big East tournament. This is going to prepare them well for March Madness. They really need good play. They need to shoot the ball well. They need to not turn the ball over, not make mistakes. The Badgers have a game tomorrow as well, same exact time, which is fantastic. That's just typical. 1:30 p.m. against Northwestern. That will be on Big Ten Network, obviously, and they should definitely win that game. They won by 6 the last time they played Northwestern, so I definitely think they should win that game again. The Badgers really need to play a complete game. John Tanze, he was named All Big Ten first team, so congratulations to him. But Wisconsin has to play a complete game, not fall apart at the end, and really shoot the ball well, keep their offense moving, and keep it going. And I think the Badgers could do very well in the Big Ten tournament, and I really still think that they could go pretty far in the March Madness bracket. But we will see, and I will definitely cover all of that on my personal account right here, Dyhard. Wisconsin Whistle, I will be sharing some thoughts on there as well. But live game tweeting and most of my thoughts are going to be from my main page account. We have Taryn. He's a Lakers fan, I believe. He said Bucks will probably win. Lakers are beating up as heck, but we'll see. I agree. I think the Bucks are going to win. The Lakers without LeBron is going to be a problem for the Lakers. I don't think Luka is going to be able to carry the entire Lakers team like he would if he was in Dallas, just because he is new to the Lakers still, I'd say. So I think him and LeBron are going to have to feed off each other this year at least. And I think next year would be, if LeBron is, let's say LeBron's back. I assume he'll be back again, but let's say LeBron's back. I think him and Luka, I think Luka will be able to not use LeBron as much as he might need to this year until he gets comfortable. Luka always has that ability to take over a game. He always has that ability to put up triple doubles. He could contribute to the game from rebounding, from passing. He doesn't need to shoot the ball well. His defense isn't the best, but He could also just go bananas from three and shoot all over the court. He could go bananas from just, I mean, in a lot of different facets from the offensive side. Luka could really impact the game. So while they are kind of beaten up, I think it comes down to how Luka plays. If he plays very, very well and the Bucks seem like they can't stop anything, then it's going to be a very close game and the Lakers could pull it out. If the Bucks play very well and Luka doesn't shoot that well, I think the Bucks can pull it out by maybe 10 points or more. But the role players for the Lakers, like Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect and everything like that, they're gonna have to step up if Luka's not shooting well, and we'll see. It'll be a fun game. I definitely think it'll be a fun game. I think everyone should definitely watch that game. Now that has a lot of implications. The Lakers are pretty hot. I'm not sure as recent. I haven't actually paid attention, but I know the Lakers have flown up. Let's see. They're first in the Pacific. They're third now in the Western Conference, and they're 8-2 in the last 10. So they are pretty hot. So we'll see. Pretty hot team coming in. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. They're very hot. And now wrap up basketball. Congrats again to the UW Green Bay women's basketball team winning the Horizon League championship. I don't know if UW Green Bay men even played in the Horizon League tournament. They were terrible. Doug Gottlieb likes his show better than coaching. I know that's been a topic, and I will just contribute to that. It's been pretty embarrassing from what I've seen. Just look it up standings, look it up scores, this stuff. It's been pretty embarrassing to see, and I really, really hope that he either pulls it together or he gives UW Green Bay a coach that they deserve, because that's not fair to still, you're in the middle of a season, you're on Radio Row for the Super Bowl. Focus on your team first. That show shouldn't even be happening while you're a coach. UWM lost to, I believe, Wright State or whatever. They lost out of the Horizon League, so we won't see them continue their season anymore. That wraps that up. And now I'll wrap up basketball talk. You're listening to the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on IE Sports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Wisconsin Whistle. I'm your host, Dan Vachalek, a.k.a. Dyhard. Listen to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Jumping gears here to football. So the Packers had signed left guard Aaron Banks, 4 years, $77 million. The news was announced Monday afternoon after a absolute flurry of players were going left and right to teams. And as soon as I said, well, I guess the Packers don't want to make any moves, boom, here came that. And then the Hobbs signing came right after that. I'll start with this Aaron Banks signing. He was the second best offensive guard available, according to everything that I've been reading and people who I've been paying attention to. The only guaranteed dollars in the deal right now, according to Spotrac, is going to be in a signing bonus. They do have the ability to jump out of the contract pretty much right away. I believe after this season, or maybe it's the 26th season. But it gives a lot of flexibility. Basically, with Josh Myers going to the Jets, he just signed a 1 year, $3.5 million deal a couple hours ago. With him going to the Jets and not being on the team, I really think the Packers could have made that offer to him and kept him. But we live and we learn. Elton Jenkins, he's going to be moving to center. That's going to free up the guard spot. So according to True Media, different stats have different sayings, but according to True Media, he only surrendered one sack on 897 pass blocking snaps since 2023. So that's definitely going to be that's a positive, especially with Jordan Love. He dealt with knee and groin sprains last year, missed some time. They had Malik Willis jump in. Both QBs, I believe, can run the ball. We haven't seen Jordan Love run too much, but he does have some speed. He's not like a Lamar, Anthony Richardson or anything, but he does have a little bit of speed. So I think getting a guard like that, especially to help out with the running game, it is a big signing. I think that's actually a very, very good signing. Kind of shocked me. I thought that maybe they weren't going to go after a lineman right away. I thought they were going to really attack defensive line, which they haven't actually signed anyone yet. Seeing that Joey Bosa went for $12 million, I'm a little disappointed. Packers could have made an offer. I know Miami made 8 and another team made roughly around 10. So for $12 million, you could have had Joey Bosa, where if he's healthy, he's one of the best defensive line edge pass rushers in the league. And if he misses half the games, then, you got a guy for $12 million who's there half the time. The other thing, too, though, about Joey Bosa is, you could have split time with him to try to limit his snaps to see if that keeps him healthy and his longevity playing for this whole season. But, again, like I said, you live and you learn. You try for certain players. You don't try for others. And you see what happens. Right now, they have not signed a wide receiver, have not signed an edge player. That's two concerning spots. I don't know if they want to roll with who they have at edge and go in the draft. Same with wide receiver. So some other stats for Aaron Banks. So this is on ESPN where they have these stats, and he stepped into the starting role in 2022. He started 43 games, posted a pass block win rate of 89.9% and a run block win rate of 66.5%. It says Banks, he had his best season in both categories in 2024, 91.7% pass block win rate and 69% run block win rate. And ESPN has him listed as 3 sacks being attributed to his blocking. So that's a little different than what CBS is reporting, according to True Media, on him only having allowed 1 sack since 2023. So it's different sites have different, they have different stats, which is a little interesting. Here's another website. that had noted a couple of things. PFF, Pro Football Focus, where the NFL puts very little stock into PFF grades. They don't really look at it completely, but they have of 66 guards who played at least 500 snaps in 2024. They have Banks as the number 32 in their grades. It's the best mark of his career. 36 in pass block efficiency, which measures sacks, hits, hurries. That was ahead of Sean Ryan and Packers guard John Runyon. But they have him listed as only just allowing 1 sack. Sports Info Solutions also charged Banks with 1 sack, but they say he gave up a stuff, which is a tackle at or behind the line of scrimmage on a running play. Also, according to league data, I believe that's with Sports Info Solutions where they pull this information from, but 0.05 yards per carry better when Banks was on the field. Not really a big difference. Not even half a yard. It's literally 5/100ths of a yard better. Obviously, this stat is going to be a little skewed because Trent Williams was right to his left to help a little bit. But 5.36 yards per carry that's the average on runs directly behind the left guard. He was 4th in the NFL last year. So that's definitely a good sign. He did miss a concussion he did sustain a concussion at Green Bay in 2024. He played 13 games last year, and then he missed some games in 2023 with a turf toe. So hopefully he gets that together. 2022 he played 88%. 23 he played 78.5%, and 24 he played 71% of the snaps. But having him at guard is going to be very, very nice. I'm very excited. He's only going to be 28 by the time the season starts. I think this is going to help out the Packers tremendously. They aren't paying him insane money. They're paying him more than Elton Jenkins. He's averaging $17 million. Banks is going to average $19.25 million, which is 7th on guards. So I like the signing. Sports Illustrated, the Green Bay Packers little section on Sports Illustrated rated this as like a D+ or something. A D+. I completely disagree. I don't think this is a D+ at all. I think this is a pretty good signing. They need offensive linemen. They need some help. We saw last year when Elton Jenkins actually went down, the guys they had couldn't do shit. They couldn't do anything. So they even had a guy that couldn't even finish off the half. Didn't come out in the second half and play. So Telford, I believe. You need depth. You need versatility. You need good players on the line. Now the other signing, Nate Hobbs, cornerback who played for the Raiders. Not that big a fan of him. Trying to see what is. So he's got cap hits that are projected at $5.99 million, $13.05 million, $14.05 million, and $14.7 million. Not really the biggest fan of these. I don't think that this guy is really exactly who the Packers needed. So it's a 4-year, $48 million contract, $16 million guaranteed. Jair Alexander is making a little more than that per year. He's still there. So I just really don't like this signing. I don't think that getting him on the team is going to be great. The one thing, though, was he was very good for the Raiders last year, according to the 33rd team that has a negative 15.9 coverage EPA ranking, which was 11th best among all defensive backs that saw more than 40 targets. So he was pretty good last year. The problem is that he cannot tackle very well. He does have the 6th best run defense grade, a 7th best run defensive stops among defensive backs, according to Pro Football Focus during his 4-year career, which is definitely, positive news to see and read and everything like that. I saw some stats. I'm trying to find them right now that were not encouraging. And let me see. I don't even know where it went. But, I'm just not too big on. No, I'm just not too big on him. I think the Packers should have focused more of their energy on a wide receiver. Getting somebody that could really, impact the offense is going to be a lot more helpful. I think the Packers were okay at corner. I think they should have got rid of Jair Alexander first. They are still expected to move on from him. Eric Stokes is not coming back, though. I can't remember where he signed, but he's gone. He did. This is the problem, though, with Hobbs that actually is really the big problem for me. He's missed 17 games in 4 seasons, including 6 in 2024. He only had 7 starts out of 11 games last season. He had 1 interception. He does play in the slot, but he could also play outside corner, so he has some versatility there. And that's about it. 51 career games in Vegas. He only had 38 starts. So, I mean, I'm not really – I don't think he's worth that money. I think a lot of people were kind of shocked to see that. They were shocked to see the money. They were shocked to see the Packers actually sign Hobbs compared to somebody, a little better. But he did add somebody to the mix. I can't really say, too much. I don't know if they're going to play him in the boundary, outside corner position. I don't know if they're going to play him in the slot. I don't know if they're going to mix him in the nickel. I don't know if he's, going to just be playing all over. I don't know what they're going to do with him, exactly where his position is going to line up. They have Nixon, Valentine, who both were pretty good. Nixon definitely wants to be CB1. I would say let's go with that for right now. Let him be CB1, and we'll see how that plays out, and go from there. I think the Packers definitely can. I think the Packers can still have some work to do, though. They definitely have some work to do. They definitely need to go get a wide receiver. That's an absolute must. Please go get a wide receiver. That's really what they need to do. I don't know what else to say on that. I don't know why they haven't really tried to talk to anyone yet. It makes no sense to me on why, they haven't signed a wide receiver yet. I saw a lot of wide receivers go yesterday and Monday. I saw a lot of teams make moves. The Bears improved their offensive line considerably, and that was one of their biggest weaknesses. Every team, who was that guy? Reed. He went to the Lions. That was a great corner that I think the Packers definitely were probably in on. I don't know if they were for factual information, but they should have been in on him. I think he would have been definitely the top pick for me, at least in corners. I think he was like a top 2 or 3 corners there that were available. But Hobbs is mainly a defensive guy, a depth guy rather. I cannot find these stats. I had his stats, and they weren't the. I just want to see if I could find this. He allowed a completion rate of 42.9% according to Sports Info Solutions. Next Gen Stats had him at 55.8% completion rate and a passer rate of 71.9. But Pro Football Focus had 67.4% completion rate, which ranked him 66 out of 97 corners who played at least 300 coverage snaps. So that's kind of a bunch of different numbers from different sites that are telling us information about him. I'm kind of going to lean towards more of Pro Football Focus, or maybe right in the middle. I'd say he's probably, definitely not worth that money that they paid him. But I'd say he's probably closer to about half, a little over half of the passes he allows to be completed. He's 5'11 and 3/8, 32.5-inch arms, 4.48 speed, 40.5-inch vertical. He's athletic. Antonio Pierce did say last year that he's a physical freak. So he has a lot. I would probably throw him in the slot. He's physical. He's explosive. He definitely can cover. But you allow him to impact the running game, and I think that's going to be more valuable. The injuries are going to be a problem. That's definitely going to be a problem. Not pissing off Keyshawn Nixon is probably going to be a little bit of a problem, but the problem with Hobbs as well is so they said he had a Pro Football Focus said he had a missed tackle rate of 22.4%. Of 92 corners who played at least 500 total snap, that's sixth worst. Sports Info Solutions charged him with a missed tackle rate of 27.9%, which is fourth worst. The positive out of those is of 92 corners, only 4 were not penalized, and Hobbs fits in those 4. He's only had 11 penalties in 4 seasons, and there were 6 corners who had just as much penalties that he's had in 4 seasons that they've had in 1 season. So we'll see. We'll see. $12 million a year average, 21st in average pay among corners. Can he come and be, top 20 corner in the league? I hope so. I really hope so. Packers have struggled with tackling. I know that's been a big thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. And, adding a bad tackler doesn't seem to be very ideal for the Packers. I'd say probably quarter of the time he's missing tackles. I'll split the difference in between there. When you have different sites that give you different percentages or different stats, you kind of got to go in the middle. I think that's where a fair amount or fair judgment is, in the middle. So Pro Football Focus got 22.4%. Sports Info Solutions got 27.9. Let's give them 25. You can even go 24 just to, benefit Hobbs a little more. But that's going to be a problem. Missing tackles, that's going to be a huge, huge problem, especially if you're supposed to be a slot guy and supposed to help in the run game. Also, the Raiders were not good last year, so Antonio Pierce lost his job pretty quickly. So, you got to take what he says with a grain of salt. You got to take what some of the stats a little bit, though, too, with a grain of salt as well, because the Raiders just aren't very good. So is that, are the stats helped out by poor play? Are the stats in the team performance, are stats true and the team performance was negatively impacted by Hobbs? I don't know. We'll see how he does. I hope Halfley's got some stuff for him. I believe he's going to play probably slot. I'll say he'll play slot. I think he could mix out to the perimeter, but he'll probably play slot. Packers definitely need to get a wide receiver, though. I'm going to keep saying that. I want to see who's actually available right now. Stephon Diggs is actually still available. Let's see who else. I could actually pull this up. Do they have it? Well, this is just all the signings. I know Amari Cooper's still out there. You know, Stephon Diggs definitely looking for something. Amari Cooper. Would I bring in Stephon Diggs? No. I think he's kind of a cancer to the locker room. Amari Cooper, he could definitely provide some value to offense. I'm trying to see. Like Rasul Douglas, you could have even signed him. Now, I wouldn't have had a problem with Rasul Douglas. Probably the best corner that's available. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He had 2 interceptions for a touchdown in 2021 when he was playing with the Packers. He plays a good zone. Amari Cooper at wide receiver. I cannot find any place that actually has a full listing. They just want to say the top 10 free agents available, and here we go. Yeah, DJ Reed. That was definitely a guy I definitely wanted the Packers to look at. Let's see who else is available for wide receivers, and this is how we'll end the show today. Stephon Diggs, no, thank you. Amari Cooper, definitely would add him. He still has some life in him. He had 547 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. I think he'll be 31 entering the year. I think he could definitely provide some comfort for Jordan Love, experience. Definitely Cooper Kupp. Terry said Cooper Kupp, please. I'm really hopeful that Cooper Kupp comes here. That is the number one guy that I want for the Packers right now. How they listen to me, they don't. But I definitely want Cooper Kupp. He needs to be whatever the Packers need to do to grab him. Definitely go ahead and grab him. That's my main priority for wide receiver. Ignore Keenan Allen. I don't know. I don't know. I would probably ignore Keenan Allen. Maybe entertain him if he wants to take a really cheap deal or something. He had 7 touchdowns on 70 passes last year. Chicago. It seemed like he kind of disappeared in games and then he popped back up. He played very well with the Chargers. Wanted to say San Diego. He's probably though a number 3, number 4 wide receiver now. He can move the chains a little bit. Still has some good route running available for him. He's a pretty good guy, but didn't even know that. Terrence says Keenan Allen only wants to go to the Bears, Chargers, or Rams, which makes sense. That makes sense. So skip him. You could go stay in Chicago. I hope you suck down there. So hopefully you go somewhere else so I don't have to root against you, because I actually I liked Keenan Allen when he was with the Chargers. I thought he was a really nice guy. I had to root against him when he went to the Bears. I can't root for a Bear or a Viking. A Lion, it depends, but definitely not. Yes, that is what happens when you go to the Bears. Everything bad happens. You see that with their QB play. That was one who I wanted. I forgot about. Westbrook Akine went to the Dolphins. I mean, you could have grabbed him. He made something happen out of nothing in Tennessee. I mean, he averaged like 15 yards per catch. I think he had like 10 touchdowns, 9 or 10 touchdowns last year. And it was like a third of his catches were touchdowns. And he had no quarterback, absolutely no quarterback. So I definitely would have entertained him, but that's not available. Tyler Lockett, I forgot about him as well. He's going to be 32, but the veteran guy fits him almost completely. Packers definitely need to grab somebody. Tyler Lockett, Amari Cooper. I'd even go Diggs. You could even go Diggs. Try him out. See, you're going to be the number one. I think, Diggs, Diggs signs, you're going to be number one. Cooper Kupp signs, you'll be the number one receiver. Tyler Lockett signs, you might be number two or three behind Dobbs and maybe Reed or Wicks or whatever. Wicks definitely has to step up this year, not drop passes like he did consistently. But we'll see. They need to get a wide receiver, though, and they definitely need to get an edge guy because, you can't play and not rush the quarterback. You can't play and not have a solid defense by not attacking the defensive line. You saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did in the Super Bowl. They made life hell for Patrick Mahomes, and the Packers should definitely follow that model. And they also need to get a veteran guy to not only lead the locker room, but help develop Jordan Love. And we'll see. I really hope there's some good players out. So hopefully next week I can say how great and happy I was that the Packers signed a wide receiver and added the edge player, added the pass rusher. So thank you for listening, everyone. You listen to the Wisconsin Whistle on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Peace.